Okay, so what we want to do first is just to show people what you brought with you. This is Luke, by the way. He's our plant manager, so you're getting the high-class help here to show you how to put a decal on. He's going to show you what we want to use to bring with us to get this thing done right.
For something simple like this, I got a mild detergent, Dawn, soap, and water. 2 or 3 drops for about half a liter of water is plenty. You don't want to go too much, otherwise you'll contaminate the surface. Don't use other detergents. Dawn's probably the only one that doesn't have the oils that's going to contaminate the surface. So something simple like this, you would just spray on to wipe off to get rid of any of the surface contaminants. This is probably concrete. It's actually not even mud. Nice. But it's important that the surface is clean. If you don't, you see what I'm taking off right now. If the surface isn't clean, you're wasting your time. You can have the best decal in the world, the most expensive decal in the world. If the surface is contaminated, and yes, it may take some elbow grease, but it's all part of it. And it's critical that the edges especially are clean.
And that includes outside the perimeter of the decal.
You see, we've left a little bit on here. That should be okay. It's going to be the perimeter that's going to be the key to success, as long as they're clean. If there's any doubts or if there's any grease, isopropyl alcohol, which you can pick up anywhere. Spray that on, or if you have it just in a bottle, pour some on a rag, and again, that'll remove any surface contaminants. Now your surface is ready for application.
The grease situation that we were looking at in those pictures, that alcohol would have really helped.
Soap and alcohol, they're your 2 main ingredients. Without that, you're wasting your time.
Yeah, and we want to tell people, you know, if they are finding a situation where they're unable to get these contaminants, grease, dirt, whatever it is, off the surface, leave that one. Flag it, you know.
Absolutely.
Because you know you're going to put it on there, you think it's done, and it's going to come off.
It's going to come right off. The surface temperature's equally important. If the surface temperature is very cold, the adhesive, it's called pressure sensitive for a reason.
Yeah, if the temperature is outside is you know below say 12 degrees or so, you are asking for some troubles because you got a cold surface and you're trying to apply a decal to. That's very difficult.
So what we're doing now is we're just going to position our cover-up decal without covering up the phone number decal. We're going to tack it in a position with some masking tape. This one's kind of in an awkward spot, but nonetheless. So it's secured there. It's not going anywhere. Okay. These decals have a back split on the back. Just remove off one section of the liner. Let it go, you get it later. If you have to handle the decal on the back, don't handle it with your dirty fingers on the edge. If you have to hold on to it inside.
Very good point.
Because you don't want to contaminate the edge. Then after that, you just squeegee out. I have a squeegee. Take your time. On the uneven surfaces, like this one especially, you may encounter the slight air bubble or two. I have one, well actually it's the metal from the bin. This is a very uneven surface.
Right.
You're going to get that. That has nothing to do with the application. The application's on there correctly, but you can see the unevenness of the metal. That's fine. Now this decal's not going anywhere. You've squeegeed down. You can press as hard as you want. That's why they call it pressure sensitive. The only thing I've done is I've added a piece of felt to it to add a bit of a smoother surface so I don't scratch anything.
Just hold it still there in your hands for a second. I want to get a close-up of it. There we go. Okay,
This is just a piece of felt that you can purchase at any craft store.
Yeah.
That's what I did.
This is really important because when you're using a squeegee like this, you're getting hundreds of pounds per square inch pressure that you won't get from trying to do it with your hand.
By hand, forget it. You're wasting your time if you're attempting to do this by hand. Again, the liner is slit, so you can handle the back, but don't handle the edges. There we go, perfect.
Now you
And
see,
then starting your application from that slit, now you start squeegeeing. Now, there's two ways. You can go up and down, or from side to side. Side to side sometimes is your easiest bet, in this direction.
Luke, just show us one thing. Let it touch the surface and then bring it back.
Okay, so
Supposing it touched, yeah.
Suppose it touched. It would be better if I had my knife handy. You just pick the edge up.
Now you see how that comes free relatively easily.
Absolutely.
That's because this material has this property called, control
Right.
positioning. It's low tack initially. It makes people think, oh, this isn't sticky enough, it's going to
No.
come off for sure. But the idea here is that here we are on a windy day,
Yep.
that thing flaps down, it gets
That's right.
messed up. You want to be able to lift it up. If with a high tack adhesive, you might as well throw the decal away. So this
Absolutely
is
correct.
what we've been spec this thing for, so that you have a chance. If you get it wrong, you want to lift it up a little bit and straighten things out. That's how it's going to help you.
And again, you have to use a squeegee. Don't attempt to do this by hand. And again, you can see all the imperfections of the metal, all the bumps of the metal from underneath. This decal is on there correctly. It's on with a clean surface, and you'll be good for 5 years.
Good.
Barring any rust, but anyhow, that's another story.
We should point out here that this material, this type of adhesive, has a property where it cures over a period of the first 24 hours.
Absolutely.
Right at this moment now, it's not stuck very tight. If you look at it, you're going to find out.
And so let's remove it.
Okay.
Let's remove it. We say it's, although I did squeegee it, and so it can be removed initially, but as you can see, I squeegeed it enough that it removed the paint from the surface.
Yeah.
So
It's
a good
pretty darn
adhesive.
If you can't tell, it's quite a windy day what we're dealing with.
yeah,
right now.
thanks for that. Again, I'm going to leave the liner on this one, and we're just going to go across sideways this time. So there's different ways of doing it. It's what you're comfortable doing. This way you're not contaminating the adhesive with your fingers. You're holding onto the paper liner. And there you have it. Wrinkle-free, bubble-free, and then lots of pressure with your squeegee, whether horizontal or vertical, take your pick. Now, this decal will not go in. You can clearly see that this decal was applied onto a dirty surface. You can see where it pulled all the dirt off the bin. There's absolutely no adhesive. It's all dirty, just dirty.
Yeah.
But where the bin, well, it's clean. I don't want to tear it, but
Yeah.
see, it's on there.
telling
Trig
you.
it.
So, what do we see here, Luke?
Well, what do we see here? It's on crooked because someone didn't take the time to tape it into position first. Okay? Now, it is an uneven surface. However, if you started by removing only one section of the paper liner on the back where the back split is, leave the tape in position to hold your decal, remove the small section of liner and apply this as best you can with your squeegee. Again, either up and down motion or side to side. You would alleviate a lot of these excess wrinkles here. Once this side's adhered down as best you can, then remove your tape and continue on. With this irregular surface, you would probably be further ahead to go on a horizontal motion. Just a little bit at a time. A little bit at a time. A little bit at a time. You'll avoid these terrible creases that are here. Creases,
and we'll get a lot
creases.
less air bubbles
And
this
a
way.
lot less air bubbles.
Not an ideal situation.
No,
You do
this
what
was
you
a,
can.
This was a tough one. This was a tough one, but again, surface must be prepped and cleaned first, or you're wasting your time.
Thanks, Luke.